Creative sourcing idea number one is to have a reverse garage sale. Never heard of this? I think I made it up. So basically what you do is instead of selling things, you're buying things. So what I did when I had a reverse garage sale is I went ahead and posted in my local Facebook groups and put up a few signs locally that said, I want to buy your gently used items. I will pay cash on the spot. And I posted the hours. I set up a table in my front driveway and people just came during the hours and brought all their stuff. Now I did in some of the Facebook posts specifically mention like certain types of things that I was looking for, like handbags and Lululemon items, Anthropologie, all of that. And so I did put out specific things that I wanted, and guess what? People brought it. And so I got Michael Kors handbags, I got Lululemon, I got Anthropologie, a bunch of other stuff. And I paid people what I felt was a fair value for it, where I knew that they were getting a decent amount of money and it saved them the time from having to post it and list it themselves or just sell it locally or whatever they were going to do with it. I bought it from them. They got some money. I knew I was going to be able to make a profit, and it was a total win-win. And I do this every so often when I'm looking for specific types of items. This is a great creative sourcing idea, and I have a ton more for you today, so watch the whole video. Creative sourcing idea number two is lost and founds from hotels or restaurants or schools or any kind of place that you might have nearby to you that's easy to potentially make a relationship with, that you can say, hey, what do you do with the items that are unclaimed from your lost and found? Do you just donate them? Do you throw them away? I can be a service to you and take them off your hands for free so you don't have to deal with it, and every 3 months I'll just show up and get the stuff. Or I could even pay you per item that I choose to take from it, and then you can deal with the rest. You can set up whatever type of relationship you want, but this is a really great opportunity. I'm in Orlando. I have lots of hotels at my disposal. So for me, this is a great option to go ahead and get some really cool and interesting items that you may not have access to otherwise. And sometimes you even get them for free because they're just happy to get rid of it and have you deal with it instead of them. Number three is chain buy, sell, trade stores. Now, wait a minute. You may not have them near you, but this can still apply. So I'm going to tell you a specific example of how I have done this, even though I have a few Plato's Closets near me and I have a few Style Encores near me, and there's all kinds of buy, sell, trade stores, whether it's Buffalo Exchange or Clothes Mentor or the ones I mentioned, but there's a different way that you can use it. So what I have done, and I've gotten some high-end items as well as some handbags this way, is go on their website or go on the Instagrams of the different stores, even if they're not near you, because many of these, like Style Encore specifically, you can buy from them on their website and you can buy from them off of their Instagram directly, and they will ship to you. This is awesome. I have bought handbags from Kansas, from Pennsylvania, from Georgia, there's another one somewhere like super far away. I can't remember. And so if you don't have one of these Style Encore or Plato's Closets near you, see if you can purchase from them online. So that's a great sourcing opportunity as well. So I really do want to take a quick moment to say thank you to Vendoo for sponsoring today's video. Since we're talking about creative sourcing strategies here, I want to let you know how I track the performance of a lot of these, and it's really simple and easy using Vendoo. I use the Vendoo labels feature, which is fantastic. I've talked about this before. Basically, you can create a label, say Style Encore Online or local hotel lost and found, and you can add it to the items in Vendoo so that you can always track the performance of a particular source. Now, that's not the only way that I use labels. I use them to track season, things I may want to pull out, things I may want to clearance, things that are boutique. Like, there's lots of reasons why I use labels and why I love that feature of Vendoo's. But in this particular sense, since we are talking about creative sourcing strategies, if you wanted to put some of these into place, which I hope you do, you will go ahead and really get a big benefit from tracking the effectiveness and performance of those by using labels in Vendoo. I have been using Vendoo for years now to track my inventory, to track my analytics, to basically put all of my drafts in. It is my reselling hub. I use it to cross-post to other platforms, to delist and relist individually and in bulk. Like, there's so many things that I use it for, and I even have my virtual assistant use it for me and with me, which is fantastic. If you want to go ahead and try out Vendoo, you can use the link down in the description below to go ahead and do a trial, and you get 30% off your first paid month of Vendoo by using the link down in the description below. Creative sourcing idea number 4 is airport lost luggage. You may have seen these videos on my channel. I used to do this a lot, and usually it kind of goes away over the summer because you can't bring little ones to pick up your winning auctions, and so I don't do it over the summer, and that's what we're getting into here. But airport lost luggage is really fun and can be a great way to get new inventory and some really high-end pieces, because what do you think that people leave behind in airports and lose? I mean, of course they can lose a whole suitcase, of course, but a lot of times they leave their outerwear, they leave their Lululemon hoodie, they leave their jackets, they leave their all kinds of things, their North Face and what have you. So there's a lot of really high-end pieces that you can get from airport lost luggage, and you just want to find out, what does your airport locally do with it? And how can you get it? So my airport here in Orlando uses an auction house to sell off and auction off the lost luggage. So I'm not going to the airport and getting it, and it's not Joe Schmo guy going through it and saying, here, you take this stuff, or it's not that. They let it, possibly be claimed for a while, and then they give it to the auction house, and then the auction house runs the auctions, and I bid on it, and if I win, I go pick up my winning lots, and then I can take it home. And I've done a couple videos on my channel. I will link them here about airport lost luggage and how fun it can be and all of the crazy stuff that you can find. But this might be a great and different option for you if you feel like you've kind of exhausted all of the options. Maybe you haven't tried this one. I'm going to start going a little bit faster because some of these require a little bit more explanation and some of them don't. So the next one is number 5, dry cleaners. I have posted about this. I have gotten some great items from dry cleaners in my area. Now, of course, I go to one particular dry cleaner, and so I have asked her, hey, what do you do with the abandoned clothing? Things that people just don't pick up. And she was like, actually, I don't know, and I don't want to give it to Goodwill because I just am not really a big fan of it. And so I have like this whole pile of stuff, and I was like, oh my God, like I will take it. I will bring it to a charity. If you don't want it to be Goodwill, I will bring it to a charity that's not Goodwill if it's something I can't use. But I'm a clothing reseller, and I would love to go through it and see if there's anything that I can sell, and that way it doesn't end up in a landfill, and it helps me make money and the people that I employ in my business, and then the rest that I can't use, I will make sure it gets donated. Would you, allow me to have your items? And she would not even let me pay for them. Like, I was willing to pay for them, and she wouldn't take the money. So I think I ended up getting her like a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts or something, but it was a really great experience. Now, since then, that particular dry cleaners in my area has closed down, so I need to start reaching out to some of the other ones in the area. But what you can do is, if you go to one, start there and make a relationship and get that working, and then you can take that and like use it as a reference to some of the other ones in your area and say, hey, well, I'm doing this with Joe Schmo Cleaners. Would you want to set up the same thing? I can help you in the same way. Here's how it would work. And obviously you can set up different kinds of systems with each dry cleaner that you work with, but this is an amazing way to get some really good stuff. And think about the kinds of things that people dry clean. Now, I am surprised sometimes that they do dry clean low-end things, but I think oftentimes it's a silk dress that they're getting dry cleaned. It's something that's dry clean only. It's something that's maybe higher end that they're looking to take care of, and so they don't want to just wash it. So sometimes you can get some really good pieces in this way. The next ones are going to go a little bit more quickly. Number 6 is Goodwill online auctions or boxes. I'm not sure if they're doing those blue boxes anymore, but if you search online from Goodwill, they do have auctions for certain kinds of items that they deem as higher end. And then they were doing like reseller boxes or boxes in bulk. So check into that and see if they're still doing the bulk boxes. But I know that they have their online auctions. And while I haven't particularly done this often, I think I did it once or twice, but I have heard other resellers that do a really great job with this. Number 7 is buying out contents of abandoned storage units. There are lots of other YouTubers out there that show you all the crazy things that they get by buying storage units, and this may not be something that you're interested in because oftentimes it's not only clothing and you do need to deal with all of the items that are in there if you buy the contents. But what you could do is go there and maybe make some relationships with the people that are buying, looking for the hard goods so that you could get the clothing. Or maybe you can go in on it with another seller in your area and decide how you can divvy it up. So there's lots of ways that you can kind of make that work, but looking into purchasing abandoned storage units is a great option for people to get items. Number 8 is hosting a clothing swap with family and friends. This I actually haven't done, but I may do in the future. I think it's really good, especially if you have kids and you're looking to do maybe kids clothing. I think that could be really cool because you can swap clothing and then you can sell maybe some of the pieces that you get that you don't necessarily need for your own children, but you were able to swap for it and then you can go ahead and sell them. But the same would apply for women's or men's clothing too. So I guess it doesn't have to apply just to kids' clothes, but I think a clothing swap with family and friends is a nice way to segue into, hey, I want your stuff and I want to sell your stuff. And maybe you're afraid to ask friends and family to give it to you for free, or maybe you're just afraid to ask them in general. Maybe this is a great segue into that. And so you can do the clothing swap where you're giving them things and they're giving you things that you would each want. And then you can kind of take it from there. Number 9 is pawn shops. Now, this is not usually things that are clothing items, and I am primarily a clothing seller, but you can get some other accessories, some jewelry, handbags, things like that, other things of value at pawn shops, and oftentimes they're available and you can get them and get them for a good price. One thing I do want to say is that likes and comments are my love language, and so I would love it if you would just take a quick moment to give this video some love. Leave me a comment down below, say hi, let me know what you're thinking of this list so far. I've got lots more for you, and go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you so very much. Number 10 is a local closet clear out service. This is something I have talked about before, and I even wrote an ebook on it. It's basically the idea of offering a service locally in your area that you can promote on Facebook and in different groups, buy, sell, trade groups, mommy groups, to say, hey, if you're cleaning out your closet, I will come and pick everything up. I will give you a quote. I can give you back the stuff I don't take. You can decide to take the quote or not. I can donate everything for you. I can pay you on PayPal, like whatever, however you want to run it. I, of course, had a set of systems and a way that I did it and lots of preset communications that are all available in that ebook. But for me, having a local closet clear out service was a really great way to kind of look for specific items. I do live in a nicer area, and so there are lots of people wearing their Lululemon here. There are lots of people with their fancy handbags, and so it really was a great way to get some really good things that you might not see at your local thrift store from people donating it because they want to get something for those items. They know it has value. They don't want to sell it themselves, but there is kind of this little intermediate where they don't have to do a lot of work, but they're still getting some money from their items. This also really helped out during the pandemic when I couldn't go to thrift stores. I was doing a lot of local closet clear outs, but after that, it really did turn into, people kind of told their friends about it. People knew that I offered that as a service. And so it really did kind of like become its own thing. And so if you don't want to do consignment, which we know that there are lots of people that do consignment, but you want to just pay outright for these items, that's what I think a local closet clear out service is, and what I think, that would be a really good option for you. Number 11 is direct liquidation from a store. So I have specifically ordered from Macy's, and it's technically Macy's and Bloomingdale's. I signed up once I got my reseller certificate through my state to be on their liquidation site. And so you just search Macy's liquidation, whatever, and you go there and you sign up and you give them all your information and they approve you. And then you get access to their portal. And then you can purchase truckloads, pallets, lots, and different ways to get their liquidation. And so I bring that up because that's directly from Macy's. They handle their own liquidation. They're not going through liquidators like we're used to buying things from Helpsy Source or Boutique by the Box or whatever. We're not going through a liquidator. We're going directly to that store and getting their liquidation. So that's an option if you haven't tried it and you do have a reseller certificate and you're kind of all on the up and up as a reseller with your tax situation. You can take advantage of relationships like that. And maybe there are others. I never really looked, like I never really had to. But if you are wanting to research new and other opportunities for sourcing and you have a particular brand that you want, you may want to reach out to that brand and see how they liquidate their items. And maybe you can set up a direct relationship or find out about their portal or whatever it is directly with that particular brand. Number 12 is online liquidation sites like liquidation.com. Now, I actually will completely fess up. I meant to check if liquidation.com is even still around before I started recording, but here I am and I haven't checked. So I don't even know if they're still around. But I bought a lot of lots from liquidation.com and many of them were actually really great. There were some that were not so good. I did make some videos about them on my channel, so you can kind of get a little bit of experience and understanding from how I handled it. But some of them you send in a sealed bid, which is like you just make a bid on it and see if they take it. Some of them is an auction format. There were lots of different things, and you could get new stuff, you could get returns, you could get flaws. They had ones called salvage, which you have to really be careful with. But there were a lot of really good opportunities on there. I haven't checked it in quite some time, but liquidation sites like liquidation.com is another different option to go ahead and get some different sourcing. Number 13 is boutique wholesale. Now this is new with tags items that have never been sold to the public before or being sold for the first time. So on Poshmark, you can sell boutique items. I do. I love it. And so selling boutique items basically means you're going to a distributor or you're going to a wholesaler and you're buying things in bulk that have never been sold to the public. So it's not just any kind of new with tags item. If you get a new with tags box from Helpsy Source, that's not boutique. That was sold before and it didn't sell, and so now it's being sold to you. It was in a store or a retail environment before that. When I buy boutique, I have a couple of suppliers that I use and I purchase from them in bulk, and they're shipping it directly from the manufacturer to me, and I am the one selling it for the first time. That's what boutique is according to Poshmark. And I love selling boutique items. I've made over $35,000 selling boutique items. I do have a course for it. The information for that is down in my academy in the link down below. I think boutique is a great opportunity to get some new and different sourcing going into your closet to make additional sales without that much work. Number 14 is local consignment stores. So some of these you'll see sporadically throughout the list you may know about, and some of them you don't know about. And so local consignment stores you may have checked, you may not have checked. You might haven't checked, you might have checked a long time ago. And so local consignment stores would be, Amy's Closet, and she just opened up a store where she wants to buy things from people and sell things to people. And so it's kind of like a style encore. It's kind of like a Plato's Closet, but it's consignment. So she's not paying you cash up front. She's going to pay you when an item sells. And I'm saying she. But we have had a few come and go in the Orlando area. There was a place called Amy's Closet. There was a plus size one. Right now there's another one called Top Drawer that I don't even really go to that often, but my sister has had really good luck with. So there are local consignment options. And so you just need to kind of do your research and see if you have any in your area, but they might pop up and they might close down over time. So it's always worth taking a look into things. Like maybe when you first started reselling, you looked and there weren't any. And now it's 3 years later and you haven't checked in a while. Maybe there's one now. Check it out. Number 15 is local consignment sites like ThredUp, The RealReal, Swap.com. These are places where you can send items in to sell and where you can buy items to resell. And so I've done it with all of them. I've bought and sold on ThredUp. I've bought and sold on The RealReal. I've bought and sold on Swap.com. So these are all options for you. And each one has kind of their own unique type of item that you might find. Swap.com, I've gotten a lot of lower end but bread and butter type things, and I can be very picky choosy with it. ThredUp, you can get all kinds of things. Obviously, The RealReal is more high-end designer, but there's lots of different options for you to review to find out what would work best for you that you can check out. And just kind of with all of these, work it into a rotation. Like maybe you set a monthly reminder for yourself that says, check swap.com, see what's out there. A different day, there's a monthly reminder for check ThredUp and see what's on there. And maybe you have a little hit list of things that you want to see if they have that would work for you to buy, to resell on Poshmark and other platforms. Number 16 is bulk buying. So whether you're buying a bulk box or you're buying a pallet, or for that matter, even a truckload, I guess. But mostly people are buying boxes and packs, and they're buying pallets from these liquidators. So the ones that I recommend is Helpsy Source. I get a lot of my inventory from Helpsy Source. I've recently found out about Boutique by the Box, and I have some fun stuff coming from them as well. And so I'm an affiliate for both of them. My links are down below. You can check those out if you want to get, additional sourcing supplements, or switch over your whole model of sourcing to bulk and pallets. But I love buying in bulk and pallets because it saves a lot of time on the time sourcing, and it allows me to target brands that I don't normally find if I was just going to the thrift store. And really now I don't go to thrift stores at all. So I'm buying in bulk primarily. But for you, if you're just starting out with it and wanting to adopt some of these creative sourcing ideas, you may want to say, hey, I'll order one box a month from Helpsy Source or Boutique by the Box. I'm going to do one local closet clear out a month and see how that, you can just kind of layer in and stack these as you go to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Number 17 is retail arbitrage. So retail arbitrage is actually going to a physical retailer and seeing what you can find to buy to resell. And these are going to be new with tags items. So I'm in Orlando. I have lots of outlets near me. And so I can do retail arbitrage by going to the Lululemon outlet and then selling it online. I've gone to Michael Kors and bought things and sold it online. I've bought Kate Spade things and sold it online. There's lots of things that you can do. Most of the time though, if it's not an outlet and you're going to a regular retail store, you're probably going to need to be in their clearance section, kind of seeing what they're trying to get rid of, but it's totally doable. And I've bought things at Kohl's to resell. So there's lots of options for you to go ahead and find things that you can see the arbitrage in a retail environment and resell them online for profit. The next one that kind of goes along with that is online arbitrage, which is different because it's online. So you're not physically going to the retailer, you're going to the website. And so some of my favorite online arbitrage things have been Kohl's online. I bought a bunch of kids' totes boots and those sold amazingly well. I bought a bunch of those. I love going to Athleta into their clearance section and buying things to resell that are new with tags. I've done it with Torrid. I've done it with Ashley Stewart. Oh my God, there's so many. Those are the most recent, but I've done it with lots of different brands and it has worked really well. You can get into trouble, be careful, but it can be really helpful. Now, if you do decide to do the online arbitrage route, check out my link down below for Rakuten because this is going to be your best friend. It allows you to get extra percentages of cash back just from making purchases at some of these retailers that you were going to buy from anyway. I get usually a quarterly check of a couple $100s every quarter, just with all of the savings and all of the cash back that I've racked up. And if you use my link, you get $30 bonus cash, and I get $30 bonus cash, which is always a good thing. So go ahead and use my link down below so we can each grab that cash. Next is number 19, and this is an interesting one because it's really hard to tell. It might really be dependent on your area, but I have had good luck with this. I know my sister as a part-time reseller has had good luck with this as well. Individual sellers or lots of items on local marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo. Honest to God, I don't even know all the apps that are out there. There's Nextdoor, there's like so many. Most of the time these days, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to deal with Facebook because it's easier for me and I don't like dealing with all these other apps. I don't even know if all these other apps exist anymore. I just kind of like had them in a list of like Craigslist, OfferUp, but like I don't even know if those are still around. But Facebook Marketplace is usually where I go. And so I can buy, let's say I was interested in buying plus size clothing. You can see maybe someone has lost weight and so they have 10 torrid dresses that they're looking to sell and they want to get some money for them. You can get a lot of torrid dresses because maybe they went from a 2X and now they're only a size extra large. Great, I will buy all your 2X torrid dresses. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. So there's lots of things. People sell individual handbags. People sell individual dresses. People sell lots of, athletic wear. A lot of times I find it's because they've lost weight or maybe gained weight. And so they're looking to like get rid of a bunch of things all at once. But that's local. The other thing that just popped into my mind that I completely forgot about is there are Facebook groups for certain kinds of items. Like there are Lily Pulitzer buy sell trade groups, there's Torrid buy sell trade groups, there's Anthropology buy sell trade groups. And so so they're from all over the country. It's not necessarily local, but you can go on and see if you can make a deal and buy in bulk. Now those groups, most of the time it is hard to source with them because they're looking to get kind of what we're looking to get for the item. Like they're not selling it for $5 most of the time. Most of the time they're trying to sell things for the prices that we would list it for, but you never know. It can't hurt to poke around and see what you can find. Maybe you have a local Lily group and they're willing to sell things more inexpensively. I don't know, but it's an option. The next one, number 20, is ThredUp rescue boxes. I used to love buying ThredUp rescue boxes, and many YouTubers share their unboxings. I've done it. I haven't bought one in a while, but I do throw it out there because they're still available. They're still out there, and if you've never tried one, this might be something that you want to look into. This list is meant to be exhaustive. Like it was my brain dump of like everything I've ever done or all the things that I've heard of for people to creatively source, because you can get into ruts and thrift store prices are going up. I hear a lot of people in the community talk about it. So these are all things that you may want to just start poking around in, start adding to your toolbox, because you never know, you might not be able to thrift at your local place and you might need to add 4 or 5 of these options into your regular routine. Next is number 21, sourcing on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and whatnot. I've done all of that, and so it has gone really well for me. I've bought lots of things on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, all of those places I have bought on to sell. So is it hard sometimes? Yes. Does everything that I look into to try to buy to sell work out? No. Are there times where I make a bundle and make an offer and they don't take it and I wasted all that time? Yes. But are there lots of times that it has worked out big in my favor? Absolutely. And I know that people get a little kooky about lowball offers and stuff, but remember, not everyone out there is a professional seller like you and I are. I'm a full-time reseller. You might be full-time or part-time. They're not doing it for that. They bought into the Poshmark commercial that says, just list some items and make some cash from your closet. So that's all they're trying to do. And so they don't care if they're getting top dollar for the item. And they don't care if it's, they don't have an inventory system. They're not trying to move stale inventory. They're like, I just want to get rid of these old dresses that I don't wear anymore and get some money for them so I can buy a new dress. So they're not trying to make the kind of money that we're making. And so what's a lowball offer to you and I, because we bought an item to sell to make a profit? They're just happy to get rid of stuff out of their closet and get some money for it. And that solves their problem and it solves my problem. And I don't have an issue with that. If you do, this may not be the sourcing strategy for you, but I say it because it is an option. Number 22 is reseller boxes. I have sold reseller boxes. I have bought reseller boxes. I created an entire course about selling reseller boxes because when I did it not under my Rebecca the Reseller where I had a platform and a following. Like, I did it in secret on the side. I didn't want anyone to know it was me. I wanted to prove that anyone could sell reseller boxes. And so I sold thousands of dollars worth of reseller boxes, like incognito, and it worked great. And then I started selling them under my brand because then it was just easier to do that. But it can be done. You can sell them. But in this situation, as a creative sourcing strategy, you want to buy it. You want to buy someone's stuff. And you might think, well, isn't it just a reseller selling the stuff that they don't want or that they couldn't sell themselves? And yes, there are reseller boxes out there that are exactly that. You don't want to buy those. You want to buy the reseller boxes from someone who doesn't want to deal with selling everything individually. They don't want to spend the time taking all the photos. They can go to the bins, buy a bunch of stuff, shove it in a box, and sell it to you and be perfectly happy with the profit that they made. Some people have great bins, and so they want to only list the stuff that's $100 item, but know that they can get all of these things that someone else wants to sell. And so they have no problem selling those to you in a reseller box, and those would make you perfectly happy and make you perfectly good money. Some people are looking for vintage, but they still pick up the modern stuff so that a reseller could sell it. So there's lots of opportunities, and all you have to do is find someone that you know and trust, and then build a relationship with them and buy reseller boxes from them. So not all reseller boxes are created equal. Not all are bad, and some are a really good option. Number 23 is discount stores like Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Last Call, Nordstrom Rack. You might have some local ones. You might have some other options that I haven't even thought of, but these can be good. I personally have not had good luck with the TJ Maxx type of thing. That has never really worked out for me. I never really found stuff cheap enough where I felt like I could sell it for profit. I have, however, done really great at Ross. When they have their clearance sale in January, which I found out about from the Orlando Coupon Queen. She's on YouTube. She had like a thing go viral about Ross, and then it turned into this whole thing. And she's here in Orlando, obviously. So I actually ran into her a couple times at different stores, and I found hundreds and hundreds of items from Ross at rock bottom prices, brand new with the tags. Dresses of all kinds, from Calvin Klein to Kate Spade to DKNY, like so many kinds of dresses for like $1.99. Some were $4.99, some were 99 cents. I bought a ton of Hurley swimsuits. I'm still selling some of them, but many have sold. Those were great. Maternity shorts, like so many things. Again, they're in a retail environment, so they're all new with tags, but they were in a discount store. So they were liquidated from their brand to the discount store, and then they didn't sell at the discount store. So they're being, quote, liquidated again on clearance, and you can get amazing, amazing deals. And also, too, you can get multiple quantities sometimes, which I love. I'm a huge fan of that, and that works really, really well. So I like Ross. That's worked for me. Locally, I haven't found that the TJ Maxx is right for me, but I know that many people get great deals at TJ Maxx, so that's why I kind of made this whole list. Some people like Nordstrom Rack. I've never really even dove into it. I just haven't even tried, but that's an option too. So if there's even more stores like this, discount stores, definitely check it out. Number 24 is your own closet. And so you may have already tapped into this when you first started reselling, but you may not have tapped into it in a while. And I will say, as a reseller, because we can get stuff so cheap, I get a lot of stuff in my closet because I will get a box from Helpsy Source. And I'm like, oh, that's a size large. That's cute. Let me, wash it and try it on, and I keep it. But then sometimes I don't even wear it. Like, I put new things in my closet, or I should say new to me, from my sources, thinking these are going to be things for me. But I'm a reseller and I wear this kind of stuff all the time, so I don't even wear half of these clothes. And so they just end up sitting in my closet. So from time to time, I actually have to purge my closet of things that I got from my sources to sell online that I kept out for myself, that now I've kept, but now I'm like, I don't really need this. I don't really wear this. And now I can resell it, which is what I should have done from the beginning, but I didn't. So I think that we all should put a reminder in our phone, on our calendar, wherever, that like once a year, once a quarter, whenever you want to do it, you should purge your own closet for things that you can resell, because that's a great opportunity to get things for more profit, perhaps, because maybe you bought it and you did wear it and now you're trying to just get profit out of it or what have you. But it's a great way to clear personally and get stuff for your business. The next one is a little more obvious. It's number 25, which is friends and family's closets. And so I did mention that swap earlier, but you can then take it to the next level and say, okay, now that we've done the swap, if you have anything else that you don't want, I'd love to sell it for you. And if you have a good relationship with friends and family, you can then say, I'm looking for these specific types of items. If you have your Old Navy, go ahead and donate that to your local Goodwill, but I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you have a relationship with those people and you feel comfortable, you can say that. Say, keep your crap at home or donate your crap to Goodwill, give me the good stuff. But if you don't, take it all, but I don't think you should list it all. That's a separate conversation, a separate video, but I don't think you should list everything you get for free, because it does take up time and effort and mental energy and space in your inventory system that may be limited. And so you want to make smart decisions about that kind of inventory, especially as you're more seasoned. If you're just starting out, I think it's okay to be more lenient that way. But if you're, doing this and you're trying to make full-time money, trying to make serious part-time money, I don't think you should list every friends and family Old Navy top. I just don't think the profit is there for you, but that is your choice. Number 26 is chain thrift stores. So, okay, I know, but it needs to be said because I like to make comprehensive lists. So this is your Goodwill, this is your Salvation Army, these are your Savers, American Thrift. Like, there's lots of chains out there that are regional that I don't have here, but that you might have. And I do think that it's a good reminder, not because all of a sudden there's this brand new thrift store that you've never heard of, but because you might not know that a new one opened up from that chain. Like, all of a sudden, maybe a Western regional chain now all of a sudden ended up in Orlando, and I didn't know because I hadn't checked recently. So again, this is just about reminding you to, from time to time, do some research. Like, you might have researched it, but research it and see if there are new thrift stores, new chain locations. In my area, when I first started reselling, I had to drive 25 minutes to get to a regular Goodwill retail store. Then one opened up about, I don't know, maybe 5 miles down the road. And now I have one, literally, I could ride my bike to it. So you never know what's popping up in your area. And so you might not know of new locations or new chains that have come to your area, and you should try them out. Number 27 is local mom and pop and church thrift stores. So again, these are ones that can come and go, but a local mom and pop shop might just be some random lady that decided to open up an antique store, or maybe a new charity in your area decided to open up a charity thrift store, or a church all of a sudden decided to have Thursdays is rummage sale day. So they have technically like a church thrift store kind of thing. So keep looking into this stuff, especially those smaller mom and pop or church or charity related types of organizations, because those could be really good. Also, sometimes organizations do it like I don't even have an example, but I've seen them in Orlando and I don't always stop, but they will have like I don't know what I'm losing. Like, basically you can just go ahead and, like, as a charity, you could say, everybody donate your stuff, and then on this day of the month, we're going to have, I guess it's called a rummage sale. I guess it's not really a thrift store, but they might do it regularly, and they do it as a fundraiser. So like schools sometimes have a group or community garage sale event. And so everybody brings their stuff, or they pay for the table, and it's a fundraiser for that organization, but it's not a normal garage sale. It's a pop-up garage sale as an event. Next one is outlets, and I don't mean like the retail outlets. Like I said before, I meant like the Goodwill outlet. And I don't know, and this is number 28, I don't know if there are other thrift stores that do this. Like, I don't know if Salvation Army has a pay by the pound option. It's a big country and there's lots of different things in lots of different places. Here in Orlando, I'm not aware that happens, but obviously we have 2 Goodwill outlets that I'm lucky to to get to easily. I don't go to them anymore because I never found that they yielded the right kind of stuff for me. But I do go every once in a while just for fun, to scratch the itch and see what I can find. More for love of the treasure hunt than to go to rely on inventory. Like right now, I rely on inventory from my bulk sources and my boutique sources. That's the bulk of my inventory. But it is nice to go from time to time to the outlet and see. So for you, if you have one nearby, you might be regularly utilizing it. But if you're someone where you know that it's far away and you have to do a big drive, maybe once every 6 months you do that big drive just to switch it up, see what you find, and have fun and kind of road trip kind of thing, like go with a friend. So it is easy to get stuck in a sourcing rut. And we are always pressed for time and we need to be productive and efficient. I'm a big believer of that. But I also think it's nice to switch it up sometimes and make it not so monotonous and not always do the same thing. And so an outlet is a great opportunity for that because you know that it's going to be cheap. And so you just kind of throw it in on a whim or on a plan and see how it goes for you. Number 29 are rummage sales, and these are often, again, charity or church related. One of ours is in July, and so I kind of have it marked down on my calendar that, I should start paying attention to when it's coming up. It's not a church that I attend, it's a different church, but I know that it's there. I know that it's coming, and in July it usually happens, and so that's something that I kind of keep on my radar. So for you, as you go through the year, all the different ways that you find out about these sources, whether it's your local paper, local Facebook groups, maybe you can ask friends and family, or, just see what other opportunities there are. Maybe you happen to see a sign one day. Start putting that down, like write that down. And that way every year you can start to be like, oh, when is that coming up? And when is that coming up? Like I know that there's certain rummage sales happening at certain times. The next one is number 30, which is garage sales. And I know that there are certain community garage sales. A lot of Orlando, it's like community garage sales. So like I know that the beginning of May and the beginning of November is the Hunters Creek garage sale. And that's multiple communities and they all have it on the same day. That's a great opportunity to go and do some serious sourcing. And I've gotten some great stuff. And then we have our local communities here. So obviously garage sales is one of them. Number 31 is estate sales. And I think I've been to one estate sale in all the 7 years I've been reselling. I just don't go to them. Maybe because it's kind of like they kind of pop up because I guess, somebody just died. I don't know. I guess estate sales aren't always that somebody died, but it was always very much like it just kind of happens and I couldn't get childcare in time or I already had planned to do something that day. So for me, like I'm not good with pop-up stuff like that. I like to kind of plan things out. And so for me, estate sales just never really took root in my sourcing strategy, but a lot of people love them and do great with them. If you haven't tried it, try to put it on your radar. Maybe you find a new relationship with an estate sale company that you can start to work with and find out when they're having them in your area. So there's lots of things that come from what I've said a few times now, which is rechecking. When you started reselling, you probably looked into some things. Now you might be a completely different kind of reseller, and so you can recheck into these options. The last one is flea markets. And so this is a great opportunity. Some places have more fun ones. Some people have less better ones, but flea markets are another option and you can totally look into that and see if that's something that works for you. I hope that you have found some serious good ideas here in this list. I feel like I've done so many of them and there's still so many more that I haven't done, but I know of them that I shared with you. And if you have any more that you thought of throughout this list, like me saying something triggered something for you and I didn't say it, please leave it down in the comments below so we can all benefit. I truly appreciate it. Like this video, comment below, and then of course, thank you so much to Vendoo for sponsoring today's video. If you want to sign up for Vendoo, you can actually start for free with 5 listings per month. And then if you do decide to sign up, you get 30% off your first month using the link down in the description below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to watch whatever video of mine comes up next. It really does help the channel. Bye!